Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Well, the kids have really stepped up for the Tigers lately. The impact that they've had can be measured in recent wins for their team. The Tigers are coming off a 3-game sweep of the Tribe, but today they welcome in another Central Division foe. It's the Kansas City Royals. We welcome you to Comerica Park on a gorgeous night for baseball here this evening. Game 1 of this 3-game series featuring the Royals and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us. Game 1 of this 3-game set. A really good start to the homestand for the Tigers. They sweep the Indians 3 straight. The offense was really good, Rod, and I guess if you want to start somewhere, you might as well start at the top. Austin Jackson had a great series.
Well, anytime you get your leadoff hitter leading off each of those 3 games and getting on base and scoring, it bodes well for your club. But talking to Lloyd McClendon and Austin before the game today, they pointed out a couple of things to me. We're going to show you now. It's the fact that really he's been able to get that front foot down consistently all season long, and that means there's no panic when he starts to swing that bat. He has the uncanny ability to drive the ball the opposite way. His straight chart validates that. He also hits breaking balls to the pull field. It's really been a remarkable season so far for Jackson, but he does other things as well. He can steal a base. He's done that several times this year, and he's a human highlight film in center field. So he has been better than advertised in his first tour of duty in a Detroit Tigers uniform.
Well, how good has he been? He's been this good. These are the ranks for Austin Jackson among Major League rookies, not just the American League. He is leading in several different categories, and Jackson is on pace for 187 hits this year as he continues to clean up this season in the leadoff slot. That's the story from here at Comerica Park. In the meantime now, we send you back to the Call Sam Studios, and with more in our coverage, here's Mickey York. Order of curly fries. Great night for baseball here in the Motor City as we check out the starting lineup for the visiting Kansas City Royals that is featured by Honda Bloomfield tonight. Gregor Blanco will lead it off. He'll play in center field. Jason Kendall is the catcher. Kila Ka'aihue. Yes, you heard me correctly. He's the DH. Billy Butler's at first. Wilson Benamed is at third. Alex Gordon is out at left field. Their bottom three tonight features Meyer, Betancourt, and Grosse Pointe South's Chris Getz. Meanwhile, Jeremy Bonderman set to go to work as we get you ready for baseball tonight in Game 1 of this 3-game series. The Tigers getting set to wrap up this homestand with 3 here against the Royals. Gregor Blanco is leading it off on an absolutely beautiful night here at the ballpark. 76 degrees. Our game time temperature. Gregor Blanco hitting .262. Former Atlanta Brave. Looks at a ball outside.
Yeah, Dayton Moore, their general manager, before he got the general manager's job in Kansas City, came from the Atlanta Braves, and it seems like every time he makes a deal, he dips back into a player that he knows a lot about.
And a base hit to center field, so Blanco's aboard with a leadoff single. Tigers scouting report on Jeremy Bonderman tonight is brought to you by Scott's Lawn Pro.
Well, in that series against the Cleveland Indians, the Tigers had 3 quality starts, and Bonderman would love to continue what Galarraga and Verlander and Scherzer were able to do. And if he's going to do so, he's got to limit the long ball. He's given up 18 home runs in his last 14 starts. And one thing he has been outstanding at this year is limiting the damage done against him very first time through for the opposing team.
Jason Kendall is the batter. He takes a strike. Kendall batting .261. It seems like this guy is literally out there every single day.
He's a gamer. And Blanco can run, so that means Bonderman needs to pay some attention to him. No need in giving him a free base.
That's driven to the air toward left center field. Jackson is on the run. He makes the catch. A backhanded play by Austin Jackson.
Usually we're accustomed to Jackson making over-the-shoulder catches, but he plays so shallow he could take away singles as well. And I was asking him today, how do you get such great jumps on the ball? He said part of it is knowing the hitters, and also part of it is just having some athleticism in the outfield. That's a really nice play.
Do you think it's to the point now where, having played 3/4 of the season, you really can't consider him a rookie anymore?
It's kind of hard to say because he really hasn't played like a rookie all year long, but it's a good point. I mean, he's getting into an area now where he's done it for 5 months now, and he's been very impressive. So, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you on that.
He is learning, though, to grind it through that extra month of the season, which he's going through right now.
We did talk about that today as well. The next month is going to be really a telltale sign for all the young players. They're used to their season ending in a couple of weeks. Well, really in a week.
There's a strike on Kila Ka'aihue. He's out of Honolulu, Hawaii.
Ka'aihue. Kila from now on.
Kila from here on.
For me.
Forward. Kila.
For me.
I'm talking to some of the Royals guys. They say they do the same thing, but it's their home guy. Well, the visiting guys, we're going to do the same, I think. Much easier to pronounce, and that stroke to center field. Base hit. Blanco goes to second and holds there. So there are 2 on now for the Royals.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively behind Bonderman. It's always presented by your Beaumont Hospital. You got Rayburn in left. You've got Jackson in center. You got Casper Wells making his first start in right field. He just got recalled today. The infield third to first reads Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, Cabrera, and Gerald Laird. G-Money is behind the dish today.
Wells in his second tour of duty with the Tigers this year. So many of the Tigers that were down at AAA are in the big leagues right now. Jim Leland was talking about that the other day. There's nobody down there to call up. They're all here.
Wells has really revamped his entire batting stance. We'll tell you a little bit more of that when he comes to the plate. But, boy, he was sizzling hot down in the minors before his call-up.
Well, here's one of the better hitters in the American League, Billy Butler. He's batting .308.
He also grounds into a lot of double plays, and that's exactly what Bonderman should be thinking about right now. He has grounded into 26 double plays already this year.
It's got to lead the league.
It does. It does.
Here's the 1-0.
But you brought it up, too. He's an outstanding hitter. Outstanding young hitter.
Beltray at 22, Kadire at 20, and there are your top 3 in double play candidates.
All big swingers. Butler's a big swinger. Kadyr's a big swinger. And we know Beltre, he falls down when he swings.
The 2-0.
You got to keep a close eye on Blanco out at second base because he's a guy that likes to steal third as well. So if he attempts to do that, I would expect that Laird would come up and fire to second to try to get Keeler, who's standing over there as their base runner.
You're not going to do it, are you?
I might try it a couple of times during the game.
You're going to stick with the first name. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's inside. 3 balls, 1 strike.
If you slow down and say it, you're cool.
Yeah,
but if you're
right.
speeding up, you got no shot.
Ka'aihue. There you go. Keeler standing at first base. Royals threatening here in the early going with 2 on and a 3-1 count on Billy Butler.
Dangerous count here. Fastball might not be the pitch of choice here. Maybe a slider.
Strike called on the inside part of the plate. 3-2.
That's a good pitch. It's the last pitch Butler was looking for. He's looking for something away from him in the 3-1 count. And Bonderman throws a 2-seam fastball that gets enough plate for Tim Welke to call a strike. Runners probably would be on the move as many double plays as Butler has hit into this year. But they're not.
Line drive into either center field. That's going to drop in. Base hit. This will get 1 run in. Scoring on the play is Blanco, and it's a single and an RBI for Billy Butler.
Make no mistake about it, this Kansas City Royals team can hit. I mean, there's some different players now. DeJesus is on the disabled list. Pasednik is no longer here. But the only 2 teams in the American League that came into play today with more hits than the Kansas City Royals are the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees.
And you would not guess that when you look at the standings.
No.
Because the Royals are in 4th place in the Central, 19 out.
And they're last in pitching, and they're also last defensively as well.
Here's Wilson Betemit. An early run for KC, and they are knocking on the door for some more. Butler has picked up his 62nd RBI.
You would think this Kansas City Royals team would be a little tired. They have played 3 games in the last 24 hours when their ball game started yesterday afternoon against the White Sox. Doubleheader late on Saturday, followed by a day game on Sunday. 3 games.
Not only that, they were extra innings.
All 3.
This rolled foul, 1-1.
I bet they slept good last night. That was their manager, Ned Yost. Surprisingly, those games didn't really last all that long for extra inning games.
Blanco, Gordon, and Betancourt played every inning of those 3 games. 2 balls, 1 strike on Betemit. Wilson Betemit has hit safely in his last 4. He had a really good homestand for the Royals, who just completed their best homestand of the year. They won 6 out of 10, and Betemit hit .412 on that homestand. It's lifted back out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Betemit.
Betemit has always been a huge prospect in whichever organization he's been through. And he's been through the Yankees. Now he finds himself in Kansas City. And it looks like he may have found a home.
Two and 2. Driven high and deep to right field. The ball is hooking. It'll go foul.
Well, Bondo's going to have to get that slider down. Laird initially asked for the slider away, the backdoor slider. Bondo wanted the one inside, but he just didn't get it in a real good area. And this one, he is lucky that Betemit hooked it foul. Ugh. You can't live there.
Swing and a miss. It gets away from Laird. The strikeout is recorded. Move the runner Butler to second base, and there are 2 gone.
That was a much better slider. And the result is much better. He gets on top of this one a little bit better. You can see the spin coming out of his hand. And that ball bounces, and Betemit swings right over the top of it. Laird couldn't run it down before Butler gets down in the scoring position.
So it's a strikeout and a wild pitch. 2 away now for Alex Gordon, who's back in the big leagues. He's hitting .223.
Left fielder these days.
Ball 1 to Gordon. He suffered a fractured thumb, so began the season on the disabled list. Tried to get some at-bats in the minor leagues. Now back in the big leagues. A whole lot of pressure was put on this young man when he originally got to the major leagues. The comparisons to George Brett. Two and 0 on Alex Gordon. Kaiahui at third base and Butler at second base. Ground ball to the right side. Rhymes showing some range, and he throws him out. Minimal damage done here in the first inning to get a run. They do it on 3 hits and strand a pair. Royals have taken a 1-0 lead. Here's the Tigers starting lineup presented by Big Boy. It's Jackson, Rhymes, and Damon at the top. You've got the big fella playing first base, Cabrera. Ryan Rayburn is in left field, followed by Johnny Peralta. Your bottom 3 is Brandon Inge, Casper Wells, and Gerald Laird. Jackson leads it off against Bruce Chen, the veteran left-hander who is 33 years of age out of Panama City. And Jackson, who's been red hot, 7 for his last 14.
As a matter of fact, he led off all 3 of those games against the Cleveland Indians in the bottom half of the first inning by getting on with a base hit and coming around to score. So that's even better.
8-game hitting streak right now for Austin. Chen works home the 2-0 pitch. It's high, 3 balls, no strikes. Jackson, Rhymes, and then Damon here in the first inning against Chen.
Tigers today will have to be patient against Bruce. Very seldom really gives you anything to hit.
Lifted back out of play, right field line. 3-2 on Jackson.
Fastball at 76 and 77 miles an hour. You really have to display some patience, and he really doesn't get much above that.
Picked up his first ever career win against the Tigers the last time he faced him. It was back on June 4th, and he walks the leadoff man, so Jackson is aboard via the base on balls. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Bruce Chen. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, you saw those fastballs that Chen was featuring to Jackson, so you could agree with me. He's a crafty left-hander, doesn't throw the ball over the plate that much, and changes speeds on everything that he throws. He is well-traveled. The Kansas City Royals are his 10th stop on his major league tour, and he has not won here at Comerica Park. He's 0-2, and his earned run average is approaching 7.5.
Here's Will Rhymes, who is showing bunt. So this was a pretty good recipe for success in that series against Cleveland. You get the leadoff man on. You got Rhymes up there trying to advance. You did that a couple of times.
Well, you also have the left-hander on the mound. I don't think Chen falls that far to his third base side because he doesn't have a lot of velocity in his fastball, so he may be a little bit over the rubber. But then you got Billy Butler down at first base, still learning that position. So it's a good remedy for a bunt in that direction. There he goes.
Next one down the first base line. Chen will take it. And getting the job done again is Rhymes, advance the runner to second base.
I was talking to Rhymes about that today, and he said one of the things that he needed to do right there, and he said he was going to do it. He said he needed to get the ball past the pitcher. He felt like if he got the ball past the pitcher, he would have a really good chance at getting a base hit. As you see, he didn't get it past the pitcher. Chen called off the first baseman Butler, and that allowed Butler to retreat back to his position. So there was no miscommunication there, but it was a good job, well done by Rhymes.
Here's Johnny Damon. Just 1 for 10 in the series against Cleveland. RBI chance here, trying to tie it up. There's a strike call. That one came in at 80 miles an hour. 0-1 on Damon. Johnny with 7 home runs this year. The 0-1 pitch is swung out and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. Royals got a run on 3 hits in the top of the first inning. And you see against Bruce Chen some ridiculous numbers for Damon.
I think Jim might have took a peek at those numbers before the ball game today, and that's why Damon's in the ball game and not Brennan Bosch. Jim doesn't play the numbers all that often, but every now and then, if they're overwhelmingly favoring one guy, I would think that he would be part of his reasoning.
Yeah, these numbers, not a small sampling either. Terrific numbers against Chen.
Chen not a hard thrower, which makes it a little easier for left-handers to stay in there, regardless of the arm slot that he throws from.
Damon batting just .219 in the month of August. Way outside as Chen stays away from him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers with 3 victories at home on this homestand now sport a 41-24 home record. Outside again, 3-2. And Damon not biting.
Well, he's putting himself in a situation where he's going to be forced into pitching in number 24. That's what he's doing if he walks Damon. If he gets Damon out, they've got a base open.
Bouncing ball hit to the right side and under the glove it gets into center field. Jackson will get to third and stop there. Damon has a base hit.
Talked about the fact that Damon had been struggling going into that bat against Chen. But when you're 10 for 19 against a guy, it doesn't really matter what he throws up there. Somehow, some way, you're going to find a way to get a knock. And Getz could not get over in time to knock that ball down. And good base running by Jackson, who was only going to get to third base anyway. He waited until the ball went into the outfield.
So here is Cabrera, who has hit safely in his last 5. The average at .341, and he's hit 3 home runs this year against the Royals. Strike 1 as Chen gets ahead.
His overall numbers since coming to the American League are ridiculous against Kansas City Royals pitching, but really they're ridiculous against a lot of teams.
Way high. 1 ball, 1 strike. .350 this year for Cabrera with runners in scoring position. Got Jackson at third. He's got Damon at first base. Good block by Kendall, and the count runs to 2-1. Jackson led it off with a walk, was sacrificed to second, moved to third on the hit by Damon. Rolled foul, 2-2. Cabrera now has walked 74 times this year. Second highest total in the American League. Derek Barton of the Oakland Athletics has walked the most. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to third off the glove of Betemit. This will score a run. Damon will go to second. Jackson is in, and it's a 1-1 ball game.
That's kind of why you have to move your feet at third base. You have to kind of get in that balanced position. You got to be on the balls of your feet. Betemit was flat-footed here, and had he not been flat-footed, he probably makes this play, but he just reaches over, and then he's flat-footed. He can't glove it, and I don't know how they're going to rule it, but the Tigers do score here.
It's a single. It's an RBI. It's a 6-game hitting streak for Cabrera. 103 driven in.
That's why they tell you in the infield, Rafael Belliard, Tigers infield instructor, he calls them happy feet. Feet always need to be moving to make plays in the infield.
Here's Ryan Rayburn. The Tigers again wasting little time in tying a ball game up in the bottom of the first inning. Rayburn at 234. He's hit 7 home runs. And he hits one to left. Base hit. Damon rounding third. They're going to stop him there as Gordon comes up with it quickly.
Gordon's got a good throwing arm. Gene Lamont already knows the scouting report on Alex Gordon, who came to the big leagues as a third baseman, but they converted him to the outfield. The ball is hit sharply. Therefore, if you're Gene Lamont, you have to make up your mind right now. You know the base runner, Damon. You watch Gordon get to the baseball, and there's no need in forcing the issue here because Damon would have been thrown out at home plate. They say Gordon's playing a really nice left field.
Well, the bases are loaded now for Johnny Peralta, who came through with a big 2-run hit in the first inning yesterday.
He'll have to have that same approach that he had yesterday, and that's simply driving the ball up the middle.
Good breaking ball that drops in for strike one. Peralta, 54 driven in. A couple of hits in that series against his former teammates. 2 for 11 to be exact. Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2 now on Peralta. Johnny this year against the Royals, 7 for 21 with 5 RBIs. Well, they're loaded up. Damon at third. You got Cabrera at second base. Rayburn at first. And only one out. Kendall again has to go down in the dirt, get dirty, and block it. The first inning has been a big inning for the Tigers on this homestand. They had 13 hits combined in the first inning. They've fallen behind in a couple of those games and come right back. And that's the story again here tonight. And the 2-2. 3-2 with no place to put Peralta. Him. Close pitch. Peralta takes the base on balls with the bases loaded. That's an RBI. Damon touches home plate.
So far, the approach given by Lloyd McClendon has been a good one, and that's to make Chin throw strikes. He's one of those guys that very seldom throws the ball right over the heart of the plate, but he gets you to swing and miss because it looks so good because the velocity is not that great, but the Tigers have had some good at-bats so far against Chin. They've taken several pitches.
So Bob McClure, the pitching coach, heads out to the mound.
As a matter of fact, he's thrown a total of 27 pitches, and he's thrown more balls than strikes.
Chen is still in a heap of trouble. Well, these Royals have played a lot of close games this year. 47 one-run games and 22 run games. So when you total up each of those, that accounts for 54% of their games.
And for the most part, it's been their offense that has kept them in a lot of games, because I told you their pitching came in with a 4.94 earned run average, which is last in the American League.
Brandon Inge, with the bases full, still only one out, and a whole heap of trouble still remaining here for Chen. This is the 7th man to bat in the inning. Bouncing ball to third. Benameet scoops it up. The second one. Here comes the relay, and that is a huge double play for Chen. He is bailed out of a potentially big inning with the 5-4-3 double play. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Beautiful 76-degree night here at Comerica Park. Tigers have taken the lead just as quickly as they fell behind. 2-1 is our score as we go to the second. It'll be Mitch Meyer leading it off. Meyer, then Betancourt, then Getz. Drill down the right field line, foul. 0-2 on Meyer. Royals got a run in the first when they put up 3 hits. RBI single by Billy Butler. Here's Bonderman's 0-2. Mitch Meyer is just 3 for his last 25 at bats. And the 1-2 pitch. I mentioned the Royals just finished a homestand in which they did pretty well. In fact, their best and biggest homestand of the year. They won 6 of 10. And that homestand featured the Yankees, Indians, and White Sox, some pretty good teams. There's another one that skips foul back into the seats. Royals, like a lot of other teams, have suffered a lot of injuries. We talk about the Cleveland team we just faced and all the injuries they've had this year. The Royals have had some big ones as well.
And then they've made some deals as well. Podsednik no longer a Royal. Kyle Farnsworth no longer a Royal.
And that is just outside. 2-2 on Meyer.
Their home run leader, Jose Guillen, they designated him for assignment. He is no longer a Royal. So they've made quite a few changes.
Rick Ankiel is gone as well.
Yep.
And that one again just missed. 3-2. Bonderman picked up a strikeout but allowed 3 hits in the first inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball right side. Will Rhymes has it. Meyer is out, 1 gone. Here's Uniaski Betancourt. Betancourt at 268, enjoying himself. Quite an offensive season. In fact, Uniaski's 13 home runs are a career high, and his numbers this year against the Tigers awfully good as well.
Uniaski's got some power numbers, RBI numbers that rank in the top 5 in all shortstops in the majors. So he clearly is enjoying a career year offensively.
Line drive to left. It'll sink in for a base hit right in front of Ryan Rayburn.
And he always seems to play his best baseball against the Tigers.
Royals' 4th hit of the game. Here's Chris Getz. Getz acquired from the Chicago White Sox. In his first year with the Royals, hitting .230. Royals also got Josh Fields in that deal that brought Getz over. And Josh Fields hadn't played all year. He's had hip surgery. One ball, one strike. Martin went the other way to the Chicago White Sox in that deal. 1-2 on Getz. Royals have a man on, a man out. We're in the 2nd.
We just saw Tien in Chicago. He came off the disabled list when we were there, and he had spent the majority of the season on the disabled list for the White Sox.
It's been an injury-filled trade.
Yes.
On both ends. 2-2 on Getz. Local kid out of Grosse Pointe. Played his high school at Grosse Pointe South. Went on to play at Michigan, Wake Forest as well. Here's the 2-2. And it's chop foul. Waiting on deck, the top of the lineup, Gregor Blanco. Betancourt has a 1-out single. We're in the 2nd. 2-1 Tigers lead. Chop to the right side. Cabrera fires to second. There's one. Relay. Bonderman covers. Not in time. Getz beats the relay throw.
It's funny. Cabrera was out today before the ball game and was working on this exact same play with Gene Lamont, Rafael Belliard. And the key to this play is if you're Cabrera, you throw the ball and you make sure you get Peralta a good throw. You don't worry about getting back to the bag. That's the pitcher's responsibility. There were times earlier this year when Cabrera would make that throw to shortstop, and while he was making the throw to short, he was still trying to position himself to get back to the bag, and therefore his throw to the lead base was not a good throw, but he has gotten a lot better in that regard. Tigers were doing a lot of stuff earlier today. BP, there were some ground balls. There was catchers were throwing to the bases. Jim Leland and his staff still doing some teaching, even though it's August 22nd.
There's Blanco. And you don't see a whole lot of that, especially this time of the year when guys are dragging a bit, they're banged up.
Yeah, but they have a young roster. They got some kids, and it kind of gives the staff something to do. Get them out early, get them moving, work on some things, trying to get them better.
Blanco had a single to start the game, eventually scored a run. He drives one to left field and hits it well. Rayburn is on the run, still going back, reaches and makes the catch.
Is that Austin out there?
It looked like it. Ryan Rayburn with a running play in left field. On a hard hit ball by Blanco.
We see you, Ryan.
Headed all the way. Tigers on top 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the second, and Casper Wells will lead things off. Ryan Rayburn just made a terrific running catch out in left field, bailing out Jeremy Bonderman. It'll be Wells, Laird, and then Jackson as we head to the bottom of the second. Bruce Chen threw 29 pitches in that first inning. And really it could have been a whole lot worse, but he got a double play ball to end that frame. Casper Wells back in the big leagues after putting together some pretty good numbers down at AAA. In fact, especially in the month of August. Wells was hitting .354 this month. Enrique Gonzalez was optioned to Toledo.
First time Wells came up this year, he was standing more straight up and down. He did not have the bend in his knees. He wasn't in an athletic position, but Bull Durham down there in AAA got him into this athletic position, a little bend in the knees, and his numbers are sparkling, as you mentioned, in the month of August.
High towering fly ball left center field. It'll stay in the ballpark. And Blanco waving everybody off. One gone. Wells is out.
Let's take one more look at that Rayburn play over his shoulder off the bat of Blanco, their leadoff hitter. When you are playing against a left-hander, you're not used to them hitting the ball that far in that direction. But Rayburn with real good concentration, and we're showing it to you in Lincoln Mercury Exmo. And there's Jeff Jones and some other bullpen folks down there to greet him with a smile.
Gerald Laird, the batter. I was convinced that ball was hit over his head.
He made a nice play. Nice recovery. Those are tough plays. The ball's hit directly over your head, especially off of the bat of a left-hander to left field, because those balls usually have natural slice to them.
Well, Laird has hit safely in his last four. Batting .198. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 on Gerald. And that game back on June 4th, in which Chen beat the Tigers, he went 5 innings, allowing 2 runs. But it took him 91 pitches to get through 5. That one missed 2-2. And as we mentioned, he threw 29 in the first inning. Chen, for the last 2 years, signed to a minor league free agent contract in the month of March. Fouled away.
Well, their bullpen has been used quite a bit in the last 3 games. We told you that they played 3 games against the White Sox over the weekend in a span of 24 hours. So their bullpen got used quite a bit. They did have Zach Greinke on the mound yesterday. Zach threw 120 pitches and pitched 8 innings, so he kind of got the bullpen back in order a little bit. But they need some length out of Chin here today.
Well, for Bob McClure or any other pitching coach, when you play 31 innings of baseball in about 22 hours, you know you're going to get taxed somewhere.
Their bullpen was up for the task, although they were brilliant in the innings that they did pitch.
Foul away again. So Chen is unable to put away Gerald Laird to this point. This will be the 9th pitch coming up. And again the 2-2. Another foul back out of play. Here's Chen with his 10th big league team. Boy, has he been well traveled. Bouncing ball to short. To his left, Betancourt. And he finally gets Laird, 2 gone.
Hey fans, the Tigers are Detroit's #1 sports value. See them take on the Kansas City Royals tomorrow at 7:05 and Wednesday at 1:05 with tickets starting at as low as $5. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. That's a good deal. $5 for a ticket.
Ooh, that's a really good deal. Still a lot of baseball to be played. Over a month to go in this season. Here's Austin Jackson. Shoots one foul back out of play. Austin had a walk, scored a run in the first inning.
Austin has had an outstanding year, but I would venture to say the one thing that he would like to cut down on would be his strikeouts. And it's amazing how we really don't even talk about that.
No, not anymore. I know we talked about it a lot early, but not anymore a whole lot. That one was driven on a line to Blanco, and the Tigers go 1-2-3. Game against the Seattle Mariners. The game was itself uninterrupted. The Tigers won it 6-5, but a pesky swarm of whatever's invading the ballpark. Visit farmers.com to hear real, true stories from Farmers customers. Farmers Insurance, ready feels good. Is that your Martinez?
Yes, indeed. He could hit.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Oh, I don't know.
It's the age-old question.
I don't know.
Here's Jason Kendall leading it off. He cuts and misses.
I don't know. He was a DH for the most part. I don't think there's anybody that's in the Hall of Fame that was primarily a DH.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be tough for him to get in. Bonderman back to work. Chopper hit left side. Inge has it there. One away. In the meantime, we go back to the studio now. Time for a game break. And here is Mickey York. Mickey, thank you. Here it is 2-1 in favor of the Tigers as we play here in the third with one out.
Robinson Cano is no joke. He drove in 6 runs yesterday with a grand slam and another single with the bases loaded. No joke.
Ka'aihui is the batter. Jim Leland, I think, said before the game today that he feels Cano might be their best player.
He did say that. I heard him say it.
And you got A-Rod in that lineup. You got Jeter.
You do.
Teixeira's a bunch of them.
Those guys are aging, though.
Yeah.
Cano's 27. A-Rod's, 33, 34 maybe. Jeter's 36. He's up there. So those guys are aging now, and Cano's real young and real talented. The only thing Cano doesn't do is run. He does everything else very well.
2-1 the count. And he checked it. Strike call 2-2 on Kila Ka'aihui, who singled back in the first inning. And that broke an 0-for-14 slump, getting an opportunity to play now that Jose Guillen is no longer with the team. Here's the 2-2 offering. This guy hit some home runs in the minor leagues. In fact, he hit 154 long balls in parts of 9 seasons in the minors.
Well, it looks like they're going to give him a nice long look to see if that minor league power can translate into some big league power.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Rope foul.
Bonderman really has only used 2 pitches here tonight, but really that's all he uses every time he takes the mound. But when you've got a lineup like Ned Yost here tonight with all these left-handers, a changeup or 2, even if you just throw it outside and you don't even want to throw a strike with it, you have to show it to some of these left-handers, at least show it. Because really you limit what you're doing, because all they're doing is they're looking inside for everything, whether it be the fastball inside or whether it be the slider that's down and in. There's no fear of them looking for anything away from them here. Laird tried to get the changeup, and Bonderman said no.
Check swing, looked like he went, and he did.
He threw the pitch. Bonderman told me he's been throwing that slider since he's been in Little League, though. So, I mean, you know he's comfortable with it. I said, how long have you been throwing that slider, Jeremy, earlier? And he said, man, I've been throwing that thing since I was in Little League. So, I mean, that's his go-to pitch. Laird wanted to change up. He said, no, I'm throwing the slider, and he got the strikeout.
You can throw as many of those changeups as you want in the bullpen. When you get on the mound for the regular game, it is just a different story.
If it doesn't feel right,
no,
it just doesn't feel right.
You're just so worried, especially in this level. It's not the minor leagues where you can work on some things and really, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter as much. But here at the big league level, you just don't want to get beat. Billy Butler, the batter, he's singled and run in the first. Bonderman missing low and away. 2-0 on Butler.
Last year, Billy Butler had 50 doubles and 21 home runs. There's only been a handful of players that have accomplished those 2 numbers before their 24th birthday. Just a handful of guys. 50 doubles, 20-plus big flies. Cabrera did it. Cabby did it back in 06 with the Florida Marlins.
You mentioned Cabrera, and I was going to compare them a little bit. I'm not saying that Butler is Cabrera by any means, but they do some of the same things. They can hit with power. They hit with authority the other way to right center field. And they both hit for average, although Cabrera's average much higher.
Yeah. He's just a beast. He's the best offensive player I've ever been around, really, for this length of time. And his numbers validate that. 30-plus home runs every year, 100 ribbies driven in. And he's probably having his best offensive season. And he's starting to get pitched around a little bit. Billy's a good player. But the other guy is extraordinary.
Few are Cabrera, that's for sure. 3-2. Is Butler perhaps a 30 home run guy at some point?
I'd say 25, 20 to 25. He just doesn't have that kind of swing yet. But he had 21 last year. Only 11 this year so far.
Bonderman trying to finish him off. Here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a base hit to right center. Maybe more. Let's see. Wells going to chase it down. Butler chugging towards second base. And he's in with an opposite field double.
I will say this. Billy Butler is one of the best right-handed hitters in the American League. Top 5 right-handed hitters in the American League. And I'm talking about guys that spray the ball around the ballpark. Guys that beat up on the other team's number one and their closers. He's got that kind of swing.
Butler's second hit of the game, a double to go with his single. Butler had 183 hits last year. And at one point this year was on pace for 200. Here's Betemit. Strike one on Betemit, who's playing third base these days, with Callaspo being traded to the Angels. And I told you Alex Gordon playing the outfield now for the Royals. Betemit getting a shot to play some third. Here's the 0-1. Grounded foul down the first base line. 0-2.
It's a big opportunity for Betemit. Told you earlier, always a big time prospect, always getting shuffled around to a couple different teams. Spent some time with the Yankees, so he wasn't an everyday player there. So it's time for him to live up to what everybody thought he was going to be, especially getting a chance to play every day now in Kansas City. And he's doing well. 344 as we speak.
Skies this one to shallow left. Peralta is there, and that is that. So nothing comes of the 2-out double. Butler is stranded. We go to the bottom of the third.
Players, plus we'll break down the game, show you all the highlights. Tigers live from the Call Sam Studios immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Will Rhymes leads it off as we go to the bottom of the third tonight here at Comerica on a gorgeous night. 76 is our game time temperature and still holding steady at 76. Rhymes, then Damon, and then Cabrera facing soft tossing lefty Bruce Chen. Tigers got a couple of runs in the first on 3 hits. The big hook Drops in a little bit high to Rhymes. Will had a sacrifice setting up a run in that first inning. One and two. First big league hit this year for Will Rhymes came in Tampa. It was off James Shields, a single. Rhymes also had a triple later in that series. 1-2 pitch. See the Tiger hitters just trying to stay back as long as they possibly can against this guy.
And sometimes that's not enough. At times, Chin, he's under the speed limit.
Little chopper to the shortstop, Betancourt. Running scoop, and Rhymes out by a step.
And Betancourt's got one of the stronger arms from that position in the American League. He's got a rocket for a throwing arm. He looks comfortable. He was not comfortable playing in Seattle. Was it 2 years ago before they made that deal? Wakamatsu, they sent him to the Royals. He wasn't playing well over there. He's playing well in Kansas City.
Having a great year offensively. Here's Johnny Damon. Damon had a single, scored a run. That was in the first inning. Damon has hit 2 career home runs against Chen. We talked about his big numbers he's had against Bruce in his career. And when you count the single that he had earlier today, they got even better. The 1-1. He shows bunt, drops one down, foul.
Haven't seen him do a whole lot of that this year, but it's a nice weapon to have. I wonder how much Johnny bunted when he was younger.
Maybe a little bit more, I would think.
Got a lot of hits, over 2,500 hits.
In the air towards shallow left. Alex Gordon is there, and there are 2 gone. So Chen now settling in a bit. 6 in a row retired. Let's bring in Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera had a single to drive in a run back in the first inning. That's pulled to the shortstop, Betancourt. Off balance throw, and he fires a bullet chest high.
Accurate with that throw.
Nice play. Made it look easy.
Nunez.
Park in downtown Detroit looking great again here tonight. It is a 2-1 score in favor of the Tigers. Bob Seeger in the house tonight.
Yeah, Bob.
Big Tiger fan. Where's the Silver Bullet Band? First pitch from Bonderman, missing down low to Alex Gordon. Gordon, Meyer, and Betancourt. Tigers lead 2-1 in this one. Bonderman gave up an early run, but since then has done okay. And of course, Jeremy trying to bounce back after a couple of subpar outings. Gave up 6 runs to the White Sox and to the Yankees, each on the road. On the ground to Will Rhymes. 1 out.
Those are a couple of tough assignments, but this is the big leagues, and you've got to beat those teams.
Well, especially that Yankee team, and we saw that lineup, how they're really, even without A-Rod, with not too many pit stops.
I think Bonderman's last start against the Yankees was pretty much thrown out of whack after he hit Gardner the very first pitch he threw that day.
I would agree with that.
He hit him, and then all of a sudden benches were warned, and then all of a sudden Gardner's on first base with good speed, and the next thing you know, they put up a couple runs on him in that very first inning.
Pulled foul. Mitch Meyer is 0 for 1. Meyer bounced out in the second. Driven to center field, and Jackson can't get there. It'll drop in front of him for a base hit. 1 on, 1 out. Time for the AT&T trivia question this evening. Who's the only player to compete in the World Series with 4 different teams? Ooh, there's only been one player apparently that has done it with 4 different teams.
They in the house tonight?
Could be.
They used to give us those kinds of questions where they would at least be in the ballpark on that night, but they've kind of gotten away from that too.
Or there is some kind of connection. Maybe the player played for either the Tigers or the Royals. Unieski Betancourt the batter. Betancourt singled in the second. Here's the 1-0. It'll pop up to second. 2 gone. That'll bring up Chris Getz. Tigers have been out hit in this game 6-3, but Bonderman has been able to pitch out of some trouble, aside from the run that he gave up in the first.
Tigers starting pitching has been outstanding on this current homestand. Galarraga, Scherzer, Verlander all had really good starts.
Which obviously is an encouraging sign. Because in the end, the Tigers' starting rotation is what is going to have to, I think, improve next year in terms of more consistent starts deeper into games. We've seen signs of that from Verlander and certainly Scherzer. Chopper hit to the shortstop. And Peralta throws out Getz. And that is that. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. 3.5 on the score sheet. Rayburn, Peralta, Inge coming up. game, simply use your cell phone and text Tigers followed by a space the player's uniform number to 37338. That is FSDET. And you'll see the final results postgame during Tigers Live. In the meantime, Bruce Chen back at the hill as we go to the bottom of the fourth. It is 2-1. The Tigers in the lead tonight. Ryan Rayburn leads it off. And Rayburn to be followed by Peralta, then Brandon Inge. 7 straight retired by Chen. Ball 2. Three and 0 on Ryan. And there's a walk, leadoff man on, so the string of 7 straight retired has gone by the wayside. His third walk. Now Johnny Peralta. He walked with the bases loaded in the first, and right now that is the difference in this game and forced home the Tigers' second run of the game, which gave Peralta his 55th RBI. Red foul, third base side. Well, we told you that Chen has played for a lot of different teams, the Royals being his 10th. And as you might expect, he has pitched in both leagues. Atlanta, the Mets, the Phillies, the Reds, Montreal, and Houston, all in the National League, and a handful of AL teams as well. And I guess the moral of the story is if you're left-handed, you can throw some strikes, you might be able to find yourself a spot.
Good point. He has kind of had to reinvent himself. I mean, he used to throw a little bit harder than he throws now, and used to have a really good changeup. But now he just kind of goes to different arm slots, different arm angles, changes speeds on everything that he throws, whether it be the fastball, the change, the breaking balls. And as I told you earlier, it just really doesn't give you a whole lot to hit.
And a few years back, he really had a good year with the Orioles. He was 13-10, had an ERA of under 4, and he threw nearly 200 innings with Baltimore that year. That was 2005. But he hasn't really approached those numbers. Won 8 ball games. Has won 8 ball games so far this year for KC. And he's under 500 for his career.
A lot of suitcases.
One and 2 on Johnny Peralta.
I don't know for sure, but it looks like Jason Kendall is handling the running game. I've been looking down toward their dugout, and I haven't seen any of their coaches giving signs at all.
That one missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Eddie Rodriguez, their third base coach, is standing on the steps in their dugout. Ned Yost, their manager, is seated. That could be the sign, Ned Yost sitting there with his stuff covered, or it could be Erod buttoning up his shirt.
That's a fair ball down the third base line. Rayburn will go to third base. Now the ball kicks away. They're going to send him home. And Ryan will score standing up. 3-1.
You brought it up a couple of batters ago, just how difficult it is to stay back on a guy like Bruce Chen, even when your mind is telling you to do so and your body has told you to do so. you still get out in front of everything, and that's a ball that's just a BB right past the third baseman Bedamit, and it looked like it hit something in left field, which gave Gene Lamont the go-ahead to send Rayburn home.
Safe at second base. Johnny Peralta safe and secure. New York life. Double and an RBI. Ball kicked off the wall out there in left field and squirted away from Gordon, allowing the run to score.
That's also, if you're the outfielder, that's why you hit that first cutoff, man, and that would have been the shortstop, Yuniesky Betancourt. He did not throw it to him. He airmailed him, and that gave Rayburn a couple more steps. I don't know if he'd have been out or not had he hit the first cutoff man, but you might as well get the ball in the guy that's got the strongest arm in your infield, and that would be the shortstop, Betancourt.
Peralta has his second RBI of the night. Brandon Inge hit into a double play back in the first inning. It was a huge double play because Chen was teetering, but it got him out of that inning. 2 balls, 1 strike on Inge.
Yeah, with nobody out and a runner on second, Inge will be trying to hit something through the right side of that infield. He's got a lot of room down the first base line, not so much in the hole because Butler playing about 20 feet off that line at first.
3-1. Casper Wells is lurking on deck. And he lost in ball 4. The first 3 Tigers reach, and that is 4 walks for Chen, which means another visit. Bob McClure making his way out to the mound for the second time tonight. While they talk it over, we tell you that this game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Casper Wells having a little chat with Gene Lamont before he steps in.
Well, they didn't bring Casper up here to bunt. That much is for sure. 21 home runs in the minor leagues by Casper. And I doubt very seriously he did a whole lot of bunting while he was down in Tucson. I mean, in Toledo.
He was busy hitting home runs.
Yeah.
21 of them.
Bedamit at third is playing in an area where he thinks Casper's going to bunt. Watch your lips.
Swing and a miss. Bedamit backing up a little bit now. Tigers already have a run in. 2 walks and a double in this inning. Wells hits one foul back out of play. 0-2 on Casper. Gerald Laird will be next. Chen is in another jam. He was in a big one in the first inning and got up by allowing 2 runs. No more than that. He's already given up 1 here in the 4th. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Wells goes down. Chen gets a big strikeout. That's his first. He's going to bring up Gerald Laird. Strike 1 on Laird.
88. That's been the top fastball so far here tonight by Bruce. He's gone as low as 67. Comcast gives us those readings.
Chen slowly but surely trying to wiggle out of this jam. He struck out Wells. He's ahead of Laird. And there's action now in their bullpen. Dusty Hughes, the left-hander. Driven to center field. Blanco is on the run. Peralta tagging and moving up.
I don't know if Blanco thought that there was already 2 outs or not, but after he caught that ball, he just kind of nonchalantly took a couple of extra steps, and it looked like Meyer in right field had to tell him that's only 2 outs. He was not going to throw Peralta out anyway, but just take a look at him after he catches this ball right here. Oh, you missed 2 outs. He's getting ready to cruise back into the dugout.
So here is Austin Jackson. Fly ball and a strikeout tonight for Austin.
We were talking about that yesterday when I caught Rayburn with 1 finger up, and Inge had reminded him that there was 1 out, and then Rayburn put his 1 finger up and said, I got you, there's 1 out. You got to remind each other.
And it really doesn't matter what level, whether it's Little League or the big league.
Nope. Guys forget sometimes. Especially when a guy out there like Chin, not throwing out a lot of strikes. Mind can wander. These guys are human. That's why you see miscues played behind guys that work real slow.
Here comes Benamed on the charge. Nice play. They get Jackson, ending the inning, so the Tigers settle for 1 run. 4 innings in the books as we go to the 5th. Blanco, Kendall, Kaiahui coming up. Is Lonnie Smith,
Skates,
who played for the Royals back in 1985, also played for the Phils, St. Louis, and Atlanta a couple of times in the World Series. Now, why do they call Lonnie Smith Skates?
He was always slipping around the outfield.
Oh, was he?
Always on the ground.
So that's really a nickname that you don't want.
Nope, it wasn't. He could run, though. Lonnie was a good player.
There's Blanco leading it off.
Them Cardinals teams, they could run back in the early 80s, led by Whitey Herzog. They had some rabbits on those teams. Boy, they had some rabbits.
Kendall to follow. And then Kaiahui. There's a strike called, and make it 1-1 on Gregor Blanco.
I think they've got their center fielder for next year. They love what Blanco brings to the dance every single night. He can really run. He can play well defensively.
Tigers saw him in Atlanta earlier this year.
Yeah, one of the best players out of Venezuela. Played in the World Baseball Classic along with Cabrera. and Guillen and Maglio and starred in the World Baseball Classic.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Blanco. He sits safely in 7 of his last 8. Gregor spent 7 years in the minor leagues before getting his first major league opportunity with the Atlanta Braves. And that was 2 years ago. And the one thing Blanco does is choke up maybe more than most hitters we've ever seen. We've seen some guys, Polanco used to choke up a little bit, but this guy really chokes up a lot.
I haven't seen anybody choke up this much. A lot of times guys that choke up this much, they use real heavy bats. The heavier the bat, the more compressed the wood, which means the ball travels further. Therefore, guys that choke up like this, they can really handle a 33-ounce or 34-ounce bat, which is kind of unheard of these days. I was asking Cabrera today before the game, how heavy was your bat? And Cabrera told me my bat's only 32 ounces.
Really?
And he's a big fella.
What did Willie Horton used to swing?
About a 38-ounce bat.
Jeez. It's lifted to center. Jackson on the move, still coming, but so is Rayburn, who just can't quite get it. It drops between him and Blanco will pull into second. Ryan Rayburn came flying through the air and almost made a great play.
Looked like real good communication there between Jackson and Rayburn. I don't know if Jackson could have caught it or not, but it looked like Rayburn called him off at the last moment, and he allowed Rayburn to make that attempted dive at the ball. And it looks like Jackson might be a little upset at himself that he didn't catch that ball. Just looked like he just kind of peeled. Looked like Jackson was right there.
Yep, I agree.
But he allowed Rayburn to make that play, and Rayburn almost made the play. But center fielder's the captain out there.
Leadoff man aboard. And is chopped foul to third base. Jason Kendall 0 for 2, fly ball, ground out. Leadoff 2-base hit by Gregor Blanco. He bunts to third. Inge on the bare hand. Move the runner up.
You can't catch Inge sleeping. That's a good play by Kendall. He does his job, but Inge is just so good and has such great court awareness at third base. He comes in, he grabs this ball in the palm of his hand, transfers to the fingertips, and flips it across the diamond, and Cabby digs it out of the dirt. Of course, Brandon's heard all the rumors the last couple of days about being placed on waivers and all those types of things, which all players are placed on waivers this type of year. But Brandon told me today he wants to finish his career as a Tiger. He says he doesn't want to go anywhere else.
Not too many guys do that these days. Less and less.
He says, I want to stay right here.
Ka'aihui at the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout.
But Brandon's also the kind of guy that would be a really nice piece to a team that's on its way to the postseason. I mean, a guy that can spell you and play different positions. We've watched him play center field. Obviously, he can catch. He can do a lot of different things. He's a nice piece to the puzzle. Anybody's puzzle. Championship caliber team.
He's worn the Old English D his entire career from day one. Chop back up the middle. This will get a run in. Peralta crossing the bag to get to that ball. Ka'aihui gets an RBI.
Little situational baseball being played here by the Kansas City Royals in the 5th inning. Double. Kendall getting him over. Keela getting him in.
You're smarter than me, man. You just go with Keela.
You belting it out real nice.
That might be the last one, though. I think I'm out of gas here. Second RBI for Keela. 2 outs, base is empty for Billy Butler. 3-2 ball game now. Butler, 2 more hits. Single double. RBI. Swing and a miss.
Looking at a stat that Mike Swanson, who handles their PR department, put in their notes about Billy Butler. He has now hit in 92 consecutive series. 92 consecutive series.
Swing and a miss. We didn't look Billy Butler liking that at bat, though. So the inning is over. They get a run, though, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Easier than ever to find the seats you want or to sell the tickets to the games that you just can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Well, the Tigers' lead now is down to 1. 3-2 is our score, so we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Will Rhymes leads it off. Rhymes, then Damon, then Cabrera facing lefty Bruce Chen. He has thrown 80 pitches. And Rhymes takes it outside. 2-0 the count. Will has been on base. Well, hasn't been on base tonight. He has a sacrifice and a ground out. But he had that big game yesterday, 4-hit game against the Cleveland Indians, the first of his career.
It's kind of surprising that he hasn't been on base, because in his couple of tours of duty at this level, it just seems like he's always on the base paths.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Well, the more you watch Rhymes, the more you kind of appreciate his game. He's shown a little bit of range at second base, shown some excitement on the base paths, because he can really run.
He plays the game full speed. And he also knows that he has to play the game full speed, because that's the only way that he knows.
Slap to right field. That ball's going to get down. Split the outfielders. Go to the gap. Meanwhile, Rhymes going to round second as Meyer has trouble with it, and will get to third base.
Speaking of speed, there it is.
Once Meyer bobbled it, he was thinking 3.
That's what good base runners will do to the outfielders, especially guys that really have good speed. When they leave the batter's box, they're running very hard, and then once he gets towards second base as an outfielder, you start to look up to see where the base runner is, and that's when you don't pick the ball up cleanly. His reputation preceded him, and he doesn't pick it up, and then there's Rhymes running with his head on the swivel, able to get over to third base.
Double E9. There's Bob McClure again.
Well, every time he goes out there, and Chen pitches well when he leaves. He's made 3 trips out there. This is the 3rd trip. The first trip, he ends hit into a double play right after he left. His second trip, he got a strikeout from Wells and a fly out to the outfield. And now this is his third trip, and he's probably hoping for similar results.
Jesse Chavez warming up in their bullpen.
Ned Yost given a 2-year extension on his contract after taking over for Trey Hillman on an interim basis. But Dayton Moore likes what Ned Yost has already done with the club. Therefore, he's going to be their skipper for the next 2 seasons.
So the infield in, Johnny Damon trying to get Rhymes in as the Tigers try and get that run back they gave up in the top of the inning. Johnny with a single and a fly ball. He has scored a run. I mentioned the rumors concerning Brandon Inge about being placed on waivers. The same goes for Johnny Damon, whose name has come up quite a bit.
Yeah, but they've been throwing teams' names out there regarding Damon. Didn't hear that with Inge. I guess there's a report out of Boston that the Boston Red Sox claimed Johnny Damon on waivers. That was not confirmed here by our club.
Fouled back 2-2 on Johnny.
Nor do you usually hear the names of the teams that claim guys on waivers, because there's really no need to, because the team could simply pull that player back. Absolutely. If they choose to do so.
Very rarely do you really hear it.
But you can understand it's Boston and it's Damon.
Swing and a miss. Johnny tipped it into the glove for strike 3. Chen has his second strikeout.
I also heard that Johnny Damon had 8 teams that he could not be traded to when he signed with the Tigers, and Boston was one of those teams that he did not want to be traded to.
Hey, look at this, an intentional walk to Cabrera.
Imagine that.
You seem shocked.
Did you know that Barry Bonds got walked intentionally, I believe, 120 times back in 2004? 120 times he was walked intentionally.
In 1 year?
In 1 year.
No, I did not know that.
He walked over 200 times that year. But Barry also had intentional base on balls years of 68 and 60 just about every year when he was doing a lot of that damage out in the National League.
That's outrageous.
It's ridiculous. And we look at Cabrera at the amount that he had.
24.
Barry had 120.
Talk about trying not to get frustrated. And here comes the second visit out to the mound, which means Chen is going to be done. There you have it, 24 intentional walks. Leads the American League. And Yost will go to his bullpen here. And so it's a Wallside Windows pitching change. Chavez coming in. Chen is done. We'll be back. Tour of NFL training camps brings him to Allen Park for a visit with the Detroit Lions. Guests include head coach Jim Schwartz, quarterback Matthew Stafford, defensive end Kyle Vanden Bosch, and wide receiver Calvin Johnson. You're invited to Jay Glazer's training camp party tonight at 11 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Lions had a nice win the other night. New pitcher is Jesse Chavez.
Ninth game now that Chavez has been in. He comes in with a 2-run record, a sparkling earned run average, and you could imagine with those types of numbers at the top, that bottom note, the opponent's batting average is 2 of 11 against Chavez.
Line right, fair ball, left field line. Grimes will score. Cabrera rumbling to third base. They're going to stop him there. It's a double, and it's an RBI for Ryan Rayburn.
I will say this much. The last 3 times Cabrera has been walked intentionally, it's been Brennan Bosch, it's been Johnny Peralta, and now it's Ryan Rayburn that gets the job done when he's been given a free pass. Rayburn looking for that first pitch fastball. It was a good pitch. It was down, and that was a BB over the head of Bedamit, I should say.
36 RBIs for Ryan Rayburn.
Boy, is he perked up.
And now Johnny Peralta is not going to bat.
You know, I was told that those 120 base on balls, intentional base on balls that Barry Bonds got in 2004, it remains a major league record, the second highest in the season. Intentional base on balls is 34 to Ted Williams back in 1957.
Quite a disparity in those two numbers.
So Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters of all time, back in 1957 was walked 34 times intentionally. And Barry Bonds in 04, 120.
Would you say he ended up with overall over 200?
Over 200 walks that year. Over 200 walks.
Here's Brandon Inge. Double play ball and a walk. Tigers trying to break it open a bit. They lead 4-2. And there is strike one. Tigers now have 6 hits. Meanwhile, Rayburn has been on base 3 times tonight. And they have supported Jeremy Bonderman. Checked it up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tigers and Royals still have a lot of meetings left this season. They will play in KC. 2 more series here in Detroit. Tigers have lost 5 of the 9 between the 2 teams so far. 2-1 on Brandon Inge. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chavez was traded twice last offseason. First from Pittsburgh to Tampa in a deal that involved Akinori Iwamura. And then to the Braves for closer Rafael Soriano, an all-star. Lifted in the air. Right field. Meyer measuring it. Cabrera tagging. Catch is made. And the throw up the line at third base. Cabrera scores, sac fly RBI. Rayburn goes to third as well. Inge gets his 48th RBI.
Meyer did everything right here. He got behind the ball. He measured it. He got his momentum carrying him back toward where he was going to throw the baseball, but he was just too deep. And Cabrera was able to coast home.
So Brendan Bosch will pinch hit for Casper Wells. Tigers now lead by 3, 5-2. Bosch this year 4 for 10 against Royals pitching. Tried to check it. 0-1. There have been 2 intentional walks in this inning. Here's the 0-1. Chopper hit slowly to the right side. Got him by half a step. Inning over. Tigers had 2 more runs, though. 5 in the books as we go to the 6th. It's now 5-2. For Wells, and so the Royals now find themselves down by 3. And Bonderman back to the hill. Wilson Betamit will lead things off. And he drives one to center field. Chasing Austin Jackson back. 1 pitch and 1 out. And Betamit now is 0 for 3. Bonderman allowed 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 5th.
He's just throwing strikes, really. Bonderman's throwing strikes. Hadn't walked anybody. Keeping the ball in the strike zone, making them put it in play. Every now and then they find the seam, but I like the fact that he's throwing lots of strikes.
Here's Alex Gordon. Gordon is 0 for 2. He's grounded twice to second base. He was an all-star in the PCL this year. Hit .315 with 14 home runs. Finds himself back in the big leagues and playing left field these days.
That might be the best thing the Royals have done for him in his career. Send him back to the minor leagues to let him get some more schooling, to get some confidence, because he wasn't playing with a lot of confidence in his first couple of stints in the major leagues. He's also battled a couple of different injuries too, but even when he was healthy, he just wasn't performing all that well.
Rusty Kuntz, who works with their outfielders, is also saying that he has seen Alex Gordon smile more this year than any other year. He just feels that there's a whole lot less pressure on him playing left than there was playing third base, and that may be carried over into his at-bats.
And if there's anybody that can get him into being an adequate defender in the outfield, it is Rusty Kuntz. He has been a tremendous outfield base running coach throughout his entire coaching career.
Driven to left field. Rayburn going back. 2 gone. Time for a game break. We go back to the studio. Here's Mickey York. We'll see if anything comes of that.
Well, it's that time of year. It's the summertime. It's hot. Guys are tired. Dog days of August.
Mitch Meyer, the batter. Ooh, that thing was hammered with foul.
This is when the hitters usually start to put up monster numbers. At least the guys that are the really good hitters, because pitchers have tired a little bit. It's their 5th month of pitching, and going out there every 5th day, I mean, you're going to be a little tired, a little worn down. And this is where the hitters kind of take over.
The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Early in the season, usually the pitchers get off to good starts because they're ahead of the hitters and the weather's cold. But July and August, those are the hitters' months.
At the end of the bat, Bonderman will come off to make the play. And he's safe. He took too long.
He sure did.
Way too nonchalant, and Meyer beat it out.
Good hustle by Meyer. Yeah, but if Bondo could do it all over again, he would quicken up just a little bit. It was almost like he told himself, just take your time, make sure you get the ball. And then he didn't realize how far along Meyer was, and he grabbed it and threw it. It was too late.
Infield hit. So that keeps the inning going for Yuniesky Betancourt. 8 hits for the Royals, and Betancourt ropes one foul. That's one thing Betancourt won't do. That's hang around for a walk. He has walked only 12 times this year.
You know what they say about them Latin players? They didn't walk off that island.
They didn't walk off the island. Randall Simon used to say that a lot.
You got to hit your way off that island. He's from Cuba.
And he has been up there swinging, and swinging he has this year to his probably best year offensively. 61 RBIs, career high 13 homers. After spending 5 years in Seattle, settling into Kansas City nicely now.
When he got to Seattle, all we heard was about how good he was and how good he was going to be, and that he was going to win Gold Gloves before all it was said and done. But he kind of soured, I guess his time got soured in Seattle, and they made the deal to trade him to Seattle, to Kansas City, I should say.
Here's the 0-2. In the air. Shallow right, Rhymes back. Bosch in. Bosch makes the play. So nothing comes to the 2-out infield hit. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Bonderman looking good tonight.
Light freeze cam. We're going to take you back to 4 outstanding plays made in this game. Jackson, he made one early. Also, Will Rhymes made a play. Rayburn also made a play, over the shoulder catch variety, and Brandon Inge comes in and flips one over to first base on a bunt by Jason Kendall. And you don't make those plays unless you got a pitcher on the mound throwing lots of strikes and working quick, and that's what Bondo's doing today. Coors Light freeze cam, always brought to you by your frost brewed Coors Light.
There are the numbers for this one tonight. 5-2 in favor of the Tigers. 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. And getting 2 in the 1st. Chavez back to work, and Laird flares one to right center field. Mitch Meyer for the out, 1 pitch, 1 away. Bring up the top of the order now, Austin Jackson. See Chavez. He's out of Victorville, California.
Been through there.
I've never been to Victorville. Where is that? Southern California?
Some up there by Bakersfield.
Oh, that's
that way.
Northern California. He is 27 years old. Bakersfield's not really Northern California, is it?
No. It's headed up that direction, though.
That's fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Austin Jackson. Chavez attended Riverside Community College. Pitched collegiately there.
They got a good program there at Riverside. They got one of the better junior college programs in California. There's a few more, but Riverside is a good program.
Swing it is.
Good pitch. You can see why his numbers are good. In the little time that he has spent in a Royals uniform, he's got a changeup. Appears to be a swing and miss changeup. He also has a nice little tight slider. The velocity with the fastball not really that bad. At 92.
Jackson gets his second walk. 1 on, 1 out. Bring up Will Rhymes. Rhymes doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Seven hits on the homestand for Rhymes.
Tom Brookins over at first base. Tigers first base coach has got to stop watching his hand. What he's doing is he is timing the time that it takes from Chavez to get the ball out of his hand into the catcher's glove. And by that reading, he will go over and relay to Jackson whether he thinks you could steal the base or not. They already know about Kendall. Kendall's been in the big leagues a long, long time. He's a catcher. They know how well he throws. So now it's all about getting the time on Chavez, which is pretty quick, which means I don't think Jackson could steal a base, even with the percentage of 24 that Kendall's thrown out this year. And if you're wondering, Jackson does have the green light. He always does, unless Jim Leland stops him. So he's about 1-1 to home plate.
Ooh, that's quick.
Yeah, he's about 1-1, which is mathematically is almost impossible for you to steal a base, because most catchers are at least 2 down to second base, so that's like 3.1, and most guys aren't that fast. Even your really good base stealers. And that's why Jackson's still standing there.
2 balls, 1 strike. Chavez replaced the starter Bruce Chen, who went 4 1/3 tonight, gave up 5 hits, 5 earned runs, and walked 5. 1 was intentional. Slapped the other way and through, a base hit. Jackson goes to second. He'll stop there. Will Rhymes has another multiple hit game. It's a single to go with his double. Bring up Johnny Damon. So the Tigers threatening for more here. They lead 5-2. Damon a single in 3 at-bats. Right down the middle, a strike, 0-1. Tigers tonight 4 for 10 with men in scoring position. They hit .395 in the Cleveland series. That is awfully good. Here's the 1-1. Gets away from Kendall, but not far enough. Damon was trying to wave the runner to third base, Jackson, but Austin going nowhere. Ground ball right side, base hit. There's another hit with a man in scoring position. Jackson coming around, he'll score. Overthrow allows Damon to go to second base, and the Tigers add another.
That's going to be the second error of the day for Meyer. And really, if you're Mitch Meyer, there's no need in throwing this ball to home plate because you're not going to get Jackson. So you might as well try to keep the double play in order. But by him coming up and throwing the ball home and airmailing the cutoff man, the ball gets past Kendall, and now Damon's in scoring position.
And this is why they're booing.
You know what? I thought that some of these other teams like Kansas City and Cleveland, they would pitch to Cabrera a little bit more because they're not going to the playoffs. But yet, they're trying to win as many games as they can.
Well, they are, and they are going to walk in for the second time intentionally in this game. The Indians did it to him quite a bit. Here comes ball 4 outside. So that'll bring up Rayburn. Bases loaded. The Tigers now have at least one run in each of the last 3 innings.
First pitch thrown by Chavez in this game was to Rayburn. He hit a C right through the hole.
That one gets through the hole into left field. 1 run will score. Throw to the plate. The tag safe. Damon gets in as well. Ryan scores ahead of him, and the Tigers add 2 more. It's 8-2.
How about Rayburn? They've walked Cabrera twice intentionally in this game, and he's come up big with hits on both occasions, and both against Chavez, who came in with sparkling numbers this year. Good slide. Good call. Tim Welke right there. Home plate umpire.
It's a 3 RBI night for Ryan Rayburn. Still only 1 out, so again, walking Cabrera. That strategy foiled. Here's Peralta. Tigers now have 9 hits. They've rolled up a 6-run lead. Johnny's knocked in a pair. He's been walked intentionally. Bonderman loves all the offense. There's another base hit. Cabrera scores. And Peralta has a 3 RBI night. 9-2 Tigers. And Bob McClure is coming out again. He has worn a path out to the mound tonight. Several times visiting Chen. Now he will visit Chavez. Well, they get somebody warming up.
Chavez came in with a real good earned run average. It's going to go up quite a bit.
That's an even 10 hits now for the Tigers. And Brandon Inge will be the 8th man to bat in this inning. A 4-run 6th for Detroit. Here's Inge. Sac fly back in the 5th to drive in a run. He's also walked. Tigers have a pair of 2-run innings tonight and now a 4-run inning. And that gets away from Kendall. Both runners will advance. 1-0.
Now they've got to pull the infield in, which makes it a little easier for Brandon to drive in one of these runs and maybe two of these runs.
Wild pitch. Infield in for the Royals. And a strike called, 1-1. Chavez came on with 1 out in the 5th inning. He has had trouble getting through the 6th. He has thrown 37 pitches. Ground ball to third. Benamy can't get it. Fair ball. Rayburn scores. Right behind him is Peralta. He will score. Ames dives in with a double. 2 more runs in for the Tigers, and the rout is on. And it's a 3 RBI night for Brandon.
They might as well let Cabrera hit.
Pitching change. They're going to the bullpen. We'll be back. And by your Detroit area Volkswagen dealers, visit DetroitVWDealers.com. All Tigers tonight. They lead 11-2. They posted 11 runs on 11 hits. And the 9th man to bat in the inning coming up, Brennan Bosch, against a new pitcher, Greg Holland. Bosch 0 for 1. He takes the first pitch inside, 1-0.
Holland comes in with an earned run average over 7.5 in only 5 games pitched. And as you can imagine, the opponent's batting average is going to be a very high number as well. He checks in with a .345 average against him.
One ball, one strike on Bosch. Holland out of Western Carolina University. 10th round pick a few years ago in 07. Swing and a miss. 94 with that fastball.
That's a nice piece of cheese there. Straight over the top.
Still only 1 out in the inning. Inge has just doubled in 2 more. It's been a 6-run frame.
Told you their bullpen pitched well over the weekend against the Chicago White Sox in those 3 extra inning ball games they played. Kansas City relievers only gave up 1 run in 12 1/3 innings. Not so fortunate here today, though.
Not even close. Lifted to left. Gordon is on the move. Second out, and here is Gerald Laird, who started the inning by flying out on the first pitch that he saw here in the sixth. And he's up there for the second time as the Tigers bat around. Ball one. Holland recently recalled from their AAA team in Omaha. Major League debut came in Oakland on August 2nd. Chopper back up the middle. That's going to get through. Here comes in, rounding third. He'll score. Gerald Laird has an RBI. 7 runs on 6 hits in this inning. The Royals have not had an answer. 12-2 game.
Right back up the box. By G Money.
Austin Jackson. Jackson has a walk and run scored in this inning. In fact, he's walked twice and scored both times. Two 2-0 on Jackson. Make it 3 balls, no strikes. Most runs the Tigers have scored in a single inning was 8. Did that against the Angels. There's another walk for Jackson. He's third of the ninth and he's second of the inning. Another shot for Will Rhymes. Two more hits tonight for Rhymes, which makes him 8 for 16 on the homestand, 500 on this homestand for Detroit.
That's a lot of hits.
He's averaged all the way up to 324. Bouncing ball right side. Chris Getz gobbles this one up, and that is finally that for the Tigers. 7 runs on 6 hits here in the 6th inning. As we go to the 7th, all Detroit.
It's at Comerica Park on Friday, September 17th. Swing for the fences at pitches thrown by former Tiger Dave Roseman. For more information, call 313-471-2550 or visit tigers.com. Oh, Dave Roseman.
You could take him deep these days, couldn't you?
I sure could.
You didn't even think about it. Yep, yeah, I could. Brad Thomas now is the new Tigers pitcher.
Well, he's got a lot of margin for error. He comes in with 5 wins, 1 loss, earned run average a tad over 4.5. All in all, it's been a pretty good year for Thomas. Spent the last 4 years pitching in Korea for 2 years, Japan for 2 years, and the lure of pitching in the major leagues once again for a major league club was just too much for him to pass up when the Tigers came to call him.
Chris Getz will lead it off here in the 7th. It'll be Getz, then Blanco, then Kendall. Getz 0 for 2, couple of ground balls. There's a strike, 1-1. So Bonderman goes the first 6 in this game. He now hands it off to Thomas. Tigers getting 7 runs in the 6th inning to break this one wide open.
Kansas City closing in on Cleveland as far as the amount of errors committed this year. They have now committed 91 errors as a team. Cleveland 93. Baltimore, Kansas City, and Cleveland came in all tied for last as far as defense is concerned, with a .981 fielding percentage.
Not one stat you want to lead the league in.
Well, it's hard to win when you lead the league in that stat.
Whistle foul back out of play. First of 3 between these two clubs before the Tigers hit the road. It's going to be Porcello and Davies tomorrow, Galarraga and O'Sullivan on Wednesday.
Long trip coming up. 10-dayer.
Grounded toward third. Routine for Brandon in. Gets us out. 1 away. Didn't we start the season in Toronto last year?
Yes, we did.
First road game was in Toronto, and so we haven't seen them until, well, next week.
Right. In their park. They made a trip here.
Well, that's true. Yeah, in their park. But that's just the way the schedule is. Of course, the Tigers will see Baltimore to end the year. That'll be their final series of the season, the first time that they will go to Baltimore this year.
Fighting Showalters.
Fouled away. 0-1 on Blanco. Did you see that the Orioles have come out with a promotion now, Buck Showalter T-shirt night, where they're actually putting their manager on a T-shirt?
Are they really?
I mean, you see players a lot, Cabrera T-shirt, whatever, Maglio T-shirt. They are trying to capitalize on Buck's early success.
Well, they won quite a few games there when he first took over. I haven't really followed him that closely lately, but I know they won 8 of his first 9 games. Buck's a good manager. Buck is a good manager.
And this is high 2-1. Well, he's won it a lot of different places.
Well, he starts it. He's not able to complete it. He was the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, he was the Yankees manager in '95, and then he got fired, and they won the World Series in '96. He was the Diamondbacks manager in 2000. He got fired, and they won the World Series in 2001. So he's been able to get teams to that level, but he has not been able to complete it for whatever reason. He also managed the Texas Rangers, and that was a good team as well while he was there. You don't get four big league managerial jobs unless you're a pretty good manager.
Well, that is for certain. And he's trying to rebuild the Orioles. Of course, Showalter was there in New York in 1994 when they were playing really well and the season was shut down, so he probably would have gotten to the playoffs that year.
Yes.
The 2-2 to Blanco, fouled off. Ryan Pena has moved to the on-deck circle, so it looks like Ned Yost will take the rest of this night to give his starting catcher, Jason Kendall, an opportunity to rest with a 12-2 score. 3-2. Bouncing ball to short, and right there is Peralta. Blanco is out, 2 away. Well, so long to Sweet Lou. He announced his retirement yesterday to be with his ailing mom, and of course Lou Piniella was going to retire at the end of this season, but he's decided to cut that even shorter now.
Look at Lou. He managed 5 different teams in the big leagues. You got to be a good manager to manage for 23 years and to manage that many teams. He won a lot of games. Lou was a good player, too. 3 Manager of the Year awards won. I watched that press conference yesterday after the game, and I got a couple tears in my eyes watching Lou. He was bawling like a baby. And really, he said, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to have a big league uniform on, and it's hard to take off.
Yeah, probably the reality of the whole situation probably hit him. But a very emotional press conference last night as Lou Piniella retires from baseball. World Championship, a couple of division titles.
Fierce competitor. They say that he got the most out of his players.
2-0 pitch to Pena is hammered to the air to center. Jackson going back, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Brad Thomas. 7th inning stretch at the ballpark. iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phones with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Visit Tigers.com today for more details. Got some changes now. It looks like we have a new left fielder. That's Jay Miller. He will take over in left. And Mike Aviles is the new third baseman. Pena stays in the game, and he will catch. It is a 12-2 ball game. Tigers leading as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Johnny Damon leads it off. It'll be Damon, Cabrera, and Rayburn for Detroit. 12 runs on 12 hits. Very economical tonight for the Tigers. Johnny 2 hits tonight plus an RBI. He has scored a couple of runs. one strike. Damon batting .272. He's knocked in 41. Here's the 1-1. Fouled off at home plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Three and two. Tigers batters tonight have had 9 walks in this game. However, a few of those have been intentional. In fact, Cabrera's been walked intentionally twice. Peralta once. 3-2 pitch. And there's another walk. Boy, isn't that a lot of walks. Well, if Jose Valverde is credited with a save in this game, text Zoom to 37338 to enter to win a party in a Comerica Park suite. It is brought to you by Mazda. Here's Cabrera. 2 walks, a single. He has scored twice. In fact, the 2 times that he's been intentionally walked, he's come around to score. Rayburn coming through a couple of times. Oh, 0-2 on Miguel. Swing and a miss. And he goes down swinging. 1 gone. He's going to bring up Rayburn, who really has had a nice night tonight. He's had 3 RBIs and 3 hits.
There could be and there can be some pressure hitting behind Cabrera because of all the intentional base on balls he's been getting lately, but today no problem for Rayburn. Cabrera's been walked a couple of times and Rayburn's come up with big hits after each one. Looks like Jim making some adjustments to his lineup card as well, with the 10-run lead, getting some guys in the game. Looks like Santiago's coming in for Peralta. Bosch has already come in the game for Wells.
One and 2 on Ryan Rayburn.
Just to give you an idea on that chart, when you've got those little circles there, like around Jackson, those are innings where you make the last out of an inning. You see those on the other side as well. Usually that tells you who made the last out. Little blue dots there. Little scorecard 101.
You know, I always wondered what those were. There's a ball outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. When you don't have a traditional scorecard, I guess that's the way you indicate the guy that made the last out.
It's just a good way of reminding everybody who's going to lead off that next half inning and whatnot.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. So after the leadoff walk, a couple of strikeouts. And now Santiago will bat for the first time. Holland came on in the last half inning. Boy, the Royals bullpen has been battered around tonight. They gave up that 7 runs 6th inning. 12 Tigers hits this evening. Little pop up, back is short, and caught on a mini leap by Betancourt. Santiago is out, so are the Tigers. 7 in the books here at Comerica Park as we travel to the 8th. The Tigers on top, 12-2. Rayburn, Peralta, and Inge with 3 RBIs each in this game. Tigers, of course, had the big 7-run 6th inning. And also Jeremy Bonner tonight, 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. He didn't walk anybody and he struck out 3.
That's what I liked about what he did today. And he pitched to a lot of contact. He knew they were going to hit the ball, but that allowed his defenders to make some great plays behind him. 4 really good plays made behind Bonderman in this game today.
Daniel Schlereth is the new pitcher now for Detroit.
AAA numbers for Schlereth this year, 1-3 with a pretty good earned run average, 60 strikeouts, quite a few walks. That's the one number that we're not showing you that they wish that he would improve on. When he throws strikes, he's got some really good stuff.
So Schlereth will face Keela and then Butler. I'm done. I've told you I'm done. And then Aviles. Keela tonight has a single and an RBI, 1 for 3. Ball low, 1-0.
Can you imagine Harry Carey with that?
Oh, no, I can't. He would try and spell it backwards, too.
He probably would.
Yep.
He got away with butchering names.
He did do that. It was kind of his charm, I suppose. 1-0 pitch is flied to center field. Hit pretty good, but Jackson has all kinds of room out there.
I mean, there'd be a pop-up in the infield, and it'd be a Latin player or something like that that wouldn't care. How can a player from Puerto Rico, where the sun always shines, drop a pop-up? He was out of control.
And they loved him for it. He was that. We get a chance every now and then to catch up with Steve Stone, who now broadcasts for the White Sox, and get some good Harry stories of the past.
Yes.
Harry Carey, when he first broke in, when he was an announcer for the Cardinals, was technically an outstanding announcer. A lot of people just remember him for his days with the Cubs. But
was he doing radio then?
He was doing radio then. And he was really, really good.
I've heard that. He turned into a showman when he got on TV.
Yeah, he sure did. Butler, the batter. That's fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Schlereth taking over for Thomas. Brad Thomas had an easy 1-2-3-7. Butler now with 62 RBIs, 2 more hits tonight. He came in batting .324 career against Detroit. Bouncing ball to short. Santiago handles this one. Butler is out, 2 gone.
Talking to Daniel Slareth in New York, and his mom and dad were in New York, and his dad had to cut his trip short because of the announcement of Brett Favre coming back to play football, so his dad had to get back to work.
That'll make everything halt, won't it?
Yeah. Said Brett Favre messed up my dad's vacation.
Here's Mike Aviles. Ball one outside to Aviles, who was batting for the first time.
But his dad he did get a chance to watch his son pitch at Yankee Stadium.
Fouled back out of play.
His fastball is clocking at 91 here today, but he's got a little bit more than that in his tank. And if he ever gets to the point of where he's able to get ahead with that fastball, that slider or that curveball that he throws is nearly unhittable. Nearly unhittable. I think one's coming right now.
In the air, shallow left field. Santiago out to make the play. Schlereth with an easy 1-2-3 inning. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Detroit tonight, they lead Kansas City 12-2 as Brandon Inge leads it off. And the first pitch sinks low from Holland. 1-0 on Brandon. Inge and then Bosch and then Laird here in the home half of the 8th. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled off at home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that one got Pena. Knocked his mask off. Tigers 3 outs away from winning their 4th straight game, and if they win here tonight, they'll go to 42 and 24 at home.
They're closing back in on that 500 mark too, which is an area where they really needed to get back to. This is a 500 or better team. There's no debate about that.
And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Well, yeah, they win tonight, and they are 1 under 500. And you just kind of move on from there.
Yep. Get back to 500.
Here's the 1-2. Foul tip into the glove for strike 3.
Holland's got a pretty good arm. He got a live arm. 93 to 95 with that fastball.
Here's how the voting is going for our McDonald's player of the game. Ryan Rayburn right now is leading with 34% of the vote. Cabrera has 18 and Will Rhymes with 16%. You can still vote. We'll have the final results for you. Post-game during Tigers Live. Brennan Bosch with 1 out.
Rhymes is too little. He can't eat one of those third pounders, can he?
Oh, yeah, he can. You can just watch
him. Can he?
We all can. If we're hungry enough, we all can. 0-2 on Bosch.
85 with that slide piece. Some nice depth. Down and in to Brennan. 0-2. Now you're fighting for your life.
Welke thought about going up with the right hand, did not.
Bill Welke, who is the second base umpire here tonight. Of course, Tim Welke, his brother, is behind the plate.
Bosch goes down swinging.
And talking to Bill a little bit before the game today when I was headed upstairs, he's at second base. He was talking about how cool it is to kind of travel around with your brother and work big league games. And he said his parents watch all their games and they only have to tune into one because they're both in the same game. Yes, parents watch their kids umpire too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
What a dream that has to be. Big league umpires working in the same crew. Here's Gerald Laird. He pops it up. Back toward the seats. Butler is out of room.
I could imagine their parents probably have the MLB package like, you know, most parents do that have sons that are playing in the big leagues or coaching or whatever the case may be. And they said they just, wherever they are, they just got to watch one game. They don't have to flip channels.
Check out the master schedule. See where the kids are. They're in Detroit tonight. Turn on the Tigers.
And they just want to see them. They just want to see their babies. Make sure they got there safely.
0-1.
And yes, parents still call you babies. It don't matter how old you are.
I was about to get to that point.
It don't matter.
Tim Welke has been in the big leagues for 26 years. Bill Welke for over 10 years. He tried to hold. Did he go? Yes, he went around. 1-2 on Laird. Tipped it out of the glove.
I like this kid's arm.
Laird thought he struck out. Didn't realize the catcher dropped it. Yeah, this Holland cat, he can throw, man.
Over the top. 95.
He's only 5'11".
He's got a fork ball, too. That's the grip he has now. Now, he might change that when he gets in the glove, but I guess he changed it. He's got a slider, he's got a curve, he's got a splitter, and he's got that fastball.
Two and two on Gerald Laird. And he missed high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Holland right now with 4 strikeouts. And he's 3-2 on Laird. Jackson would be next. Time called as Gerald steps out. High fly ball, left field. Miller will go to the edge of the warning track to make the catch. Tigers are out in order. 9th inning coming up. Jay Miller, Mitch Meyer, Unievsky Betancourt. No. Here we go to the ninth inning. It is a 12-2 ball game, and Eddie Bonine will come in.
Now I know.
Now you know as well, right?
Now I know. Don Kelly also checks in at first base, the big fella, with the remainder of the evening off. 37th game now that Bonine has been in. He's had a good year. I mean, those are good numbers. Earned run average, sub-4. Throws lots of strikes. Pitches to tons of contact. So if you're in the infield or the outfield, you know there's a pretty good chance the ball's going to be put in play. And I think that's what Jim loves best about Eddie Bonine. He gets outs, yes, but he throws lots of strikes.
He does do that, and he will try and get the final 3 outs of this game as Jay Miller steps in looking for his first major league hit. Ground ball left side, there it is. Jay Miller singles to left field off Eddie Bonine, so they'll take that one out of play.
Jay is spelled J-A-I, and he is smiling from ear to ear.
First major league hit. Made his first start yesterday, was 0 for 2. And there it is, the prized possession. Rusty Kuntz.
Toss it to the trainer. First bet of me to play some games with him.
Here's Mitch Meyer. That is the 9th hit tonight for the Royals. This one was broken open in the 6th inning when the Tigers scored 7 times. Check swing, and they will appeal. Yep. Strike called by Mike DeMuro. Myers had a couple of hits tonight. One of the infield variety. Ground ball right side. Kelly has it. Fires to second. There's one. Here comes the relay. Safe.
Nice play. That is the second type of play today. 3-6-1 that the Tigers almost turned. The first time earlier in the game it was Cabrera to Peralta to Bonderman. This time it's Kelly Santiago to Bonine. Bonine did a nice job of getting there. Just couldn't get there ahead of Meyer. Or did he?
Pretty close. Betancourt. Ground ball left side. Base hit. His second hit tonight. 2 on for the Royals with 1 out. That'll bring up Chris Getz. Getz is 0 for 3. So the Royals now have double digits in the hit totals. 10 hits. Tigers have made much better use of theirs. 12 on 12. 1 strike to Chris Getz. We'll see Porcello tomorrow in game 2.
Was 4 consecutive starts. Quality starts by the Tigers starters.
Chopped at first base. Foul ball.
Porcello capable of doing it as well.
That he is. He is picking the brain now of Justin Verlander.
They've been chopping it up pretty good tonight on that bench for a long time. And I bet they ain't talking about no baseball.
I was just about to say. I agree with that 100%. The 0-2 is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bonine follows Schlereth, who followed Thomas. The Tiger pennant retired 6 straight prior to the single by Jay Miller here in the 9th. Off the mask. 2-2 on Chris Getz. Blanco waiting on deck. To center field. That's going to drop in. Base hit. That's going to load the bases now. They will hold the runner at third. With only one out. Well, join us again tomorrow for the middle game in this series against the Royals. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Tigers Live, followed by the game at 7. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire tomorrow evening on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. Kyle Davies will oppose Rick Porcello in the middle game, so make your plans to tune us in. Here comes Gregor Blanco. A couple of hits tonight for Blanco. A single, a double, and 2 runs scored. In the air to center. Jackson is under it. Runner will tag at third. Catch is made, and that'll get a run in. Myers scores, and an RBI for Blanco. 12-3 ball game. 2 outs. And the last chance for the Royals tonight is Brian Pena. A crowd of more than 30,000 in attendance here tonight on their feet. Ground ball right side should do it. Will Rhymes. And that is a Tigers victory. In the 9th inning, a run. But Bob Seger fired up about a 12-3 win here tonight for the Tigers. Jim Leyland's team now has won 4 straight on this homestand, as the Tigers put the Royals away here in Game 1 in convincing fashion. 12-3. We'll be back with more from Comerica Park in a moment.